As you think about your life, either personally or professionally, what are some of the key turning points in your mind?
Well, I think one of the big turning points was deciding not to go into law. That was the really first. There was never any question about going to college. Mm-hmm. Even if I had to have taken 12 years to get an undergraduate degree, I was willing to do that. So I think deciding to go into education in the greatest sense of the term. Also, the fact that I had a dream starter by the name of Lucille Armstrong, who brought me the application for the fellowship to Indiana University. That was a turning point, because that particular degree and my experience at IU was so rich, and some of the greatest connections that I have today were as a result of that. And then I think that another turning point was when I made the decision to leave George Washington High School to go to the central office and to grow there, because my role there changed quite a bit over the 12 years that I was a central office bureaucrat. And then the decision when I received a phone call from the president of the University of Charleston, and he said, "I'd like for you to be a part of the UC family." He offered me the position of dean, and so that was a turning point, a huge turning point, because it brought me to a level of intellectual development that I had really not had as rich after being finished with school. Got to meet you and a great number of wonderful human beings and colleagues and friends. And then the decision not to retire. I've retired formally twice, as you well know. And after I retired the second time, and I was still managing the death of my wife, I made the decision I'd do some traveling. And I did that. And after 3 months, you'll recall, I came back and was bored out of my mind. You still were at UC. And I said, do you think that you'd like to form a partnership, and do some consulting work together? And so we've been able to do that off and on as circumstances. And I've met a great number of people in the consulting work, Tony, that I never would have interacted, because part of the consulting work has been not just in education. It's been in nonprofits, it's been in government, and it's even been in for-profit industry. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the construct of organizational flow and adaptability is the same no matter what the business happens to be or the function.
Doug, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? I could say old age, but I'm not going to say that. What keeps me up at night is planning and figuring out what is left to do that I think is important. And I have some OCD tendencies, and I could not function in an unstructured world. And but at the same time, I'm very flexible. As you well know, I'm a huge risk taker, and I've done some things post second retirement in the consulting work that led me to different parts of the world and work throughout the United States that I would not have had an opportunity. So that's been very, very rich.
What are you learning right now?
I'm learning to sit back, be more reflective, to be more attuned to the people and surroundings around me, also to cultivate rich, meaningful relationships. I think that those of us that do not care about people, there's some people that are isolates. I'm not an isolate, as you well know. But developing some very, very strong personal to some degree, intimate relationships that help you move forward and get up every day. It could be a grandchild, it could be a best friend, it can be a colleague, it could be someone in your spiritual life. And I think you've got to be very intentional about that.
What do you look forward to?
I look forward to be working with others in some capacity until I no longer am able to do that. As the old saying goes, I wouldn't mind dying with my boots on.
Sure, sure. Well, I'd like to just spend, we have a couple of minutes left, I'd like to talk a little bit about the legacy that you hope to leave for your family and your friends. What does that look like for you?
Well, I think I would want is consistency in purpose. I think I would want the ability to understand that you need to always listen and reflect. I believe that we are in a time in which the concept of respect is been diminished. I would like to see the flourishing of that. And I think that in my interactions throughout my life and my story reflect that. And then I just think that I would hope that by example, I reflect a sense of calmness, a sense of purpose, in that individuals can think back on, what did I learn from Doug Walters? What did he model? What did he show me? And they'll be able to recall that. And I think to be kind. I find it very difficult to be unkind. Now, that doesn't mean that there haven't been times in my life when I've slipped, because I think we all have done that. Mm-hmm. And but I'm just very thankful that the pathway that was given to me, I was able to take advantage of it. I know that there are a great number of people that have things in their lives that occur along the way that are such huge mountains for them to traverse that they stop. And I would say just never, ever, ever give up.
Doug, thank you so much for sharing your professional legacy with us. There's a lot of great information and things that I hope we all ponder and reflect upon.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. Now we're going to go back to our regular program format next time.
We are.
Right. Okay.
We are.
Good.
But I thought we should take some time to celebrate your legacy. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of The Reflective Leader.